Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. Oh my goodness. Welcome to season 9 of the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show. I am so excited. And here's the thing, if I've ever had one question that I have been asked the absolute most, and it would be, how do you balance it all? Well, guess what? I am going to share the answers with you right after this. Yes, season 9. Y'all, we have made it this far. I am so very excited that, when I started this process, I'm like, oh, goodness, how is this actually going to work? But we are here and we've made it to season 9 of the show. And we've done over probably 70 something podcasts so far. And I'm so proud of the work that I've done and that all of my guests to help me to do on this show, and all of the knowledge and the education that I have, tried to bring you on the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show. And this season is going to be no different. We're going to have amazing guests. I'm going to be talking about, dynamic topics, digging deep into things that are really, kind of plaguing our lives today, things that we're struggling with, things that we need to overcome, and also things that we are already good at, because y'all know I wouldn't be a positive psychologist if I didn't talk about the things that we were absolutely good at. So I wanted to open this um, season off with this topic because I'm telling you, if I've gotten one question the most in my life, it is absolutely, how do you manage it all? And let me tell you why people ask me this question all the time. So, first of all, I am a mother of 3. I have an adult son. He does not live in the state that we live in, but I have two littles that I call them, and they live in the house. They're school age children. Currently, they are 5 and 7 years old. And if any of you are parents out there to littles, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We have so many things going on between school, and yes, school has been back in for us here in Atlanta, Georgia, for about a month already. We're going into like the second month, like 5 weeks in. So they go to school, they have homework, they have all kind of activities and sports that they do that I have to manage and keep up with. And so dealing with my children is a full-time job, even though they go to school. I also have a husband of 21 years. Hey, Jamil. And of course, if you've been married for any significant amount of time, you have to spend time in that relationship to nurture that relationship. And then I have run 2 businesses, Kiki Ramsey International and the Positive Psychology Coaching and Diversity Institute, both amazingly successful businesses. And I run them on a full-time basis. These are my jobs. And so I'm always dealing with clients. I'm always on the phone with clients, servicing clients, making sure that their organization can run the way that it should run. And then, of course, with Kiki and Ramsey International, I have Thrive Society. So it is my membership community where I'm pouring into the lives of women, helping them grow in their career, in their lives. And then I also teach at the illustrious Life University here in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Masters of Positive Psychology program. I teach coaching mainly in that department, and it is one of the joys of my life. But it also takes up time. And so currently I'm teaching 2 classes, and then next quarter I will be teaching 3 classes. So have I forgotten anything? Oh yeah, me. I have me. Most of us forget us, right, in the process of really trying to grow and to just be who we were supposed to be, we forget us, right? Because we are taking care of all those other things that I named before me. And so I have me, and I need to make sure that I am okay so that I can do and take care of all the other things that I just mentioned. And it's not easy, right? It's not always easy. And so that's what a question comes into play, is because a lot of people see me and see what I do, and they see that I work at a high level, because I do. And I meant to mention, I also have friends and family that I care deeply about, that I spend time with. Oh, there's one other thing that I meant to mention. Oh my goodness, how could I forget this one? I volunteer. I volunteer at my church. I volunteer in a college ministry, and this year I'm going to start leading a women's group. Okay, so I think that's all of it. I probably will think of something else before we actually get off the show. But I do all those things because all those things are super important to me. And so, but the question is, how do you balance all of that, Dr. Kiki? That's the question I get all the time. If I had enough, a dollar or a penny or something for every time that that somebody asked me that question, I'd be rich three times over, right? Because that's what they asked me. And I was wondering why that was such an important question when people ask me that. And I know why, right? I think that it's so important, and people ask that question all the time, because we as a society and we as a people, we are constantly going. We are constantly moving. We're constantly stressed out a lot of times. We're tired. We don't have a lot of energy. And it just kind of can do a toll on your body and your mental. There's so much mental illness that is going on in our society these days that it makes it hard for people to even do half of what they think they see me do. And I think that what I don't want to do is send a false perception about my life or about anybody's life, because y'all know what we do. We look at everybody on social media, and we think about, like, oh, how can they be doing all this kind of stuff? And we judge ourselves based on other people's actions in their lives, and it makes us ultimately feel inadequate. And trust me, I've been there before myself, where I've looked at other people and be like, oh my God, their life is so amazing. Oh my God, they get so many things done. Why can I do that? And why am I inadequate? But the truth is, we're not. We're not. We're human, and all humans are made different. And so I think that as I, look to answer this question for you, I think that I want you to kind of take a look within and just understand that you don't have to compare yourself with anybody, because nobody is worth comparing yourself to, because your life is completely different from anybody else's on the face of this planet, because you are different from anybody else on the face of this planet. I am different from anybody else on the face of this planet. And I think that it really does, that really does matter. But I do have some things that I do want to share about this topic, because I think it's really important for us to understand a couple of things. First thing I want us to understand is that balance does not exist in no things. In all things, it does not exist. There is no way that we can give equal time and energy to the things that matter most to us in our life. It just can't happen. I can remember when I was in grad school getting my PhD. Man, let me just tell you this. I could not do half of the things that I wanted to do with my family, because in order for me to reach the goal of graduating in a certain period of time, I needed to dedicate a whole bunch of time to that thing. And that thing for me in the moment was my PhD. And here's the thing, I had to be okay with that. I had to get okay with that. I'm not saying I was okay in the beginning, because I struggled with things like mom guilt, like we all do, and all of that. But at the end of the day, I had to get okay. And I had to be okay if I was going to reach the goal that I wanted to reach in the time frame that I wanted to reach it. Now, I'm not saying that my time frame was somebody else's time frame. It was me. I needed to get done with my PhD in a certain time frame so that I could get back to my life. You understand what I'm saying? Because it took so much energy for me and I wasn't going to quit. So therefore I needed to get done so that I could get back to my life. And so it was important to me. So important that I had to prioritize it even over family and my kids at times. Now, yeah, don't judge me, right? Because we all have done it. And this is what I call harmony. Harmony. And what that means is, and I had to come up with this concept because I was having such anxiety and such pain that I couldn't balance, right? It all while I was getting my PhD, that I was running myself crazy. And so harmony is really the integration of various aspects of your life, um, in the way that they support each other, right? So rather striving for balance and dividing my time equally among all parts, I strive to instead work on and give the time and energy to the things that are most important in the moment, right? And so here's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that, oh, if something were to go on with my kids, I would prioritize school over it. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that in the moment, school was very important for me. I knew that school was going to help me get to an ultimate goal of living a life and providing a life for my family that I couldn't provide without school. Okay. So it was important to me. So I knew that in the moment, for me, the moment was a sacrifice of about 4 years, that it was going to be super important for me in the moment to sacrifice all of the fun things that I would ultimately do in order to, I sacrificed it to get the work done on the PhD so that I could get done and then ultimately be able to do all those things. And so I think that, if we can adopt the mindset that harmony is the way to go versus trying to figure out balance, because I was looking at all this stuff about work-life balance and balance and balance, and it just wasn't adding up. The math was not mathing, right? I could not make it work out where I gave all these things equal parts. And I was like, this is not working for me. I need to find another solution. And harmony was the solution. And then when I figured that out, I was able to do the things, do school, do certain things with my family, but not feel guilty about not doing all the things with my family, because that's kind of what harmony is. And so at any given time in your life, work might be super important, or your kids might need you way more at this period in their lives, right? I know somebody who their children were having a rough time in school, and they decided to pull back from some of their obligations because that's what was important to them in the moment, right? And it was a beautiful thing to see that they prioritized that over other things. And so yes, the other things might go on the back burner and might not get done, but sometimes that's just gonna have to be okay. It's just gonna have to be okay. And if you're anything like me, you think everything has to get done. No, it doesn't. And as a matter of fact, it can't. There's always going to be something that is lacking. You might not want to choose it, but it will get chosen. It will get chosen for you some way or the other, because everything ain't gonna get done all to the same effort as you would if you practice balance. So I think that that's important to learn, that balance doesn't exist. And I even talked to my clients about, they were asking me about how to balance certain things within the company. And I was like, those things probably won't be balanced, because balance doesn't exist the way that we're kind of talking about it. We got to make a stand, and one way or the other, something is going to be lacking. So I just want to say that, because I think that when people see me and they see all the things that I do. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm pretty proud, of myself and the fact that I can get a good amount of things done. But just know that when you do that, something in the background is always lacking. Like for me, right? You're always going to give up something to do the things, to do all the things, right? I love the saying, you could have it all, but maybe not all at the same time, right? You can do it all, but maybe not all at the same time. That to me is the true definition of harmony. Like we can have it all, we can do it all, but it might not all be at the same time. And that is okay, because I don't do anything all at the same time, right? So here are a couple of, things that I wanted to leave you with as it pertains to how do I do it all if that were, the case in the question, right? Like I said, I think I do pretty decent, but you got to understand that I'm practicing all of these things to get things done. So, first of all, we have to embrace work life harmony over balance, right? We have to embrace it. We have to prioritize um work life harmony over balance. Like um you cannot uh think that you're going to balance everything, because even the mere thought of balance can make your life stressful. It can make things stressful for you. When I was trying to balance everything when I was going to school, I was reading articles and, all of these things. It just produced more stress in me. It did not alleviate stress at all. It produced more stress because I felt like I had to be somebody I wasn't, and do things that I were not necessarily capable of given my own circumstances. And so when I was thinking about balance, I started to get super stressed out. And I thought that was not good, right? At the end of the day, to be so stressed out when it came to trying to manage my life. And so when I learned about harmony, I was like, oh, okay, cool. This thing right here is important to me in the moment. Let me focus on that. And then, the other things that are important to me, let me try to figure out where they belong in my life so that I can be in a place where my mental health is okay. So you have to literally prioritize balance, prioritize work life harmony over anything, right? Harmonize your things. You have to think about why splitting your time equally does not make sense. But what do you want to give your time to? So that's number one. And then the second thing is you have to be flexible in your scheduling. And I'm a person who likes structure. I also think that children thrive off of having structure and having guidance. To me, that's what we do as parents. We guide our children and we provide them with structure. I like guidance. I like structure for my life as well. And then on the flip side, sometimes I like being spontaneous and doing things out of the box, right? So you can't have two sides of the same coin. However, when it comes to, harmony, you have to be flexible with your time, especially if you are a parent. If you are a parent, rigidity does not work. It does not work for your kids. It makes things very stressful. And as much as I love structure, I have to also learn how to be super flexible in my life and to go with water. And so if you know me, you know that I am pretty flexible. A lot of things I can say, I can go either way. And then, but I also can make a decision too, right? But a lot of things I'm like, oh, we can do this or I can do that. I'm cool with either way, right? And I think that that's important because when it comes to running your life and managing your life in a way that works for you, that flexibility is going to come in handy. I mean, I think about like trying to figure out dinner. every day. That could be a chore for some people. And so if I haven't gotten dinner ready, right, we'll have to order dinner out. I don't like to always do that. I like to have dinner ready or know what dinner is going to be. But if it's a very long and stressful day, guess what? We're gonna stop somewhere. We're gonna get dinner, right? A lot of times we on Fridays, my kids they get to choose where we have dinner at. So normally, how my our schedule goes for our household is normally Monday through Thursday we eat at home. I will cook, Jamil will cook, something like that. We'll figure out dinner, but mostly it's at home. And then on Fridays, when we pick the kids up from school, we go have dinner together somewhere at a restaurant, and they get to pick the restaurant. And it's a treat for them because they've had an awesome week at school and we've had a long week at work. And so it just works out that way. And so I typically don't like to go to dinner before Friday because I'm feel like, oh, then the treat is messed up. Like I'm trying to teach them that you behave in school, then you get a treat on Friday, right? But sometimes, guess what? There's meetings, there's things that run over, and it just doesn't work out like that. And so we have to go down the street and get some tacos or something else. It is what it is. So you got to be super flexible when it comes to trying to manage and do it all. You have to be flexible. Another thing is, I think that one of the things that I've done well, or at least I've tried to do, is set really clear boundaries, right? I've set boundaries between work and my personal life, right? And it may sound weird and interesting, but because I work from home and there are so many of us who have these hybrid schedules, we work from home and everything like that. And yes, when you work from home, you can do a lot of things in your personal life. And I do, right? I do that. But I think what I'm talking about is when it comes to time. When I go get my kids from school, and it's my because I normally pick my children up from time that I get them from school, I am focused on them. We're getting homework done, we're reading, we're getting dinner, we're getting baths, and we're getting in bed. I can't work during that time. Now, sometimes I'm teaching during that time, and then that means Jamila's on daddy duty, right, for the kids. But when it's my turn or when we're all together, that's what I'm focused on, right? And so I set clear boundaries between work and the time that I'm spending with them from the time they get in the bed. Now, if I want to go back to my work after they're in bed, okay, that's my business, right? And I think that's okay. I feel like a lot of times because we're not super flexible about these things, then we don't think that we should have to go back to work afterwards or we should go back. That's your business. You can do what you want to, right? If that's going to allow you to get it done, then that's what you do. And that's what I do. So I set boundaries when it comes to super important things as it revolves around my children. I'm always making sure that I have time now to do what's necessary for them and to do what's necessary for my husband, regardless of everything else that's going on. I will reschedule a meeting in a minute if it's something with my kids or if it's something with Jamil. I'll reschedule because they are most important, right? And so I think that that's important for us, for you to understand it, to figure out like what's important to you, right? Which actually leads me into my next tip is that you have to align your goals with your values, right? I value family. Like it is so important to me. And don't get me wrong, I value the work that I do. I love the work that I do. But for me, family comes first. It's God, family, my work, all of that, right? And so I value them. And so if something is going on with them that's super important, you better believe I'm going to be there, and everything else is going to fall by the wayside until that situation gets done, right? When I was getting my PhD, yes, I prioritized the PhD and I missed a lot of family functions like, birthdays, in terms of friends' birthdays and outings and stuff like that. But anything that was super important, I was still there because that is a value of mine. So I think that you need to really figure out what your values are at the end of the day and align those with your ultimate goals. I valued family, but I also valued getting done with this PhD so that I could start living my life again. Because I don't know about you. Any of you ever gone through and gotten a PhD? It is hard, right? It takes up a lot of time and energy. And I just wanted to be done with that thing. And I loved what I was doing, but I needed to be done. So really sit down and think about your values that you have, right? Think about like how you want to live your life. What's your purpose? Like that, what's going to fulfill you ultimately so that you can align that with your goals. And that will give you that purpose, will allow you to move forward in a way in your life that you're like, wow, I never knew. But I think aligning your what you feel is important with where you want to go is so key and so very important. And then last couple of tips I wanted to say was I think it's important to design a daily routine. Like, as much as you need to be flexible, because we always have to be flexible in our daily routine, I think routines are so important. I know for me, when I'm off my routine, it seems like everything is off. Everything is off. And I feel like I'm playing catch up when I'm off my routine because I'm not doing the things that I'm supposed to do when I'm supposed to do it. So for me, I normally will get up at about 5 o'clock in the morning, come downstairs, read my Bible, maybe read something in terms of personal or professional development. And then I may get on the computer and start to work before the kids get up at 6. They get up at 6. We get dressed, get breakfast, they're out the door. When they leave, I go work out, and then I get myself together for the day. I'm at my desk, normally about 9:30ish, and then my day is gone, right? But if I don't get up in the morning at 5, then I feel like I'm behind because sometimes I'm then rushing the kids to get ready. It's all these things and it really doesn't work out. And when I'm feeling rushed, the kids are feeling rushed, and everybody has an attitude. And so the morning don't go well for nobody when that happens. And so in order for our morning to go better, I need to be on my routine. And when I'm on my routine, it makes things go smoother. Even if the kids ain't on their routine, because guess what? Sometimes they wake up and they choose violence. Okay, right? It's just the way that it is. And so I have to make sure that I'm in a good space so that I can handle no matter what way they wake up. Right? Sometimes they wake up so snuggly and cuddly, and sometimes they choosing violence. And so it just is what it is in the morning times. But I think that routine helps us out a lot. And then they know it. They know it. They have a morning routine. I say, have you finished your morning routine? What is that? Wash your face, coal your eyes, put lotion on, right? Put your clothes on. They know this. They can recite their morning routine to me. Wash your face, brush your teeth, coal your eyes, put lotion on. Boom. They know that. Do they always do it? No, they don't. But they can recite it to me and they can tell me what they have not done. And it's beautiful because they know what to do. And it cuts down on so much of the back and forth that we have to do. And they come downstairs, they get breakfast, and then they're off to school. And then I go pick them up. They come home. They know that we're going to do homework, bath, bed. It's beautiful. It works. Now, of course, we have to be flexible because sometimes there's meetings in between there and there's all these things that are going on, but it works. It absolutely works. So it is imperative that you really learn how to have a daily routine, right? I'm a part of the 5 a.m. club because it truly works. And the last thing I'm going to say is make sure that you learn how to delegate and get support. If there's things that you ain't got to do, don't do them, right? I have a full team. And so a lot of times people say, I don't know how you get everything done. I don't. And see, this is what people won't tell you. People will have you thinking that they are super woman or superman doing all the things, and they ain't. They're lying. I have a full team that helps me get things done. Now, do I still got a lot of stuff to do? Absolutely. Do I still do a lot of stuff? Absolutely. But do I give as much that I can give to my team as possible? Absolutely. Because there's no way. There's no way I can get all this stuff done. So I have a full-blown team at work, and then I have a full-blown team at home because Jamil is my partner. And when I tell you we support each other like this, we support each other. When he ain't got it, I got it. When I ain't got it, he got it. And we let each other know. I need your help. I need your support. Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? That's how we roll. And that's the way I, quote unquote, balance it, harmonize it all. It's because I have a team of people to help me do some things, right? It is so important. So I hope these things helped you in realizing that you too can do it all, but you're going to need to put some things into place and put some people into place to help you do it as well. All right. I am so glad to kick off this season with y'all. We are going to have an amazing season. I am so excited for you to join me. If you are a woman who are looking for a supportive community and you're looking to be coached by me, yours truly, the only place that you can truly get coaching from me, I invite you to join the Thrive Society. We are a bustling group of women, and I'm telling you, we have a lot of fun in the community, and it's just a place for you to be who you are and for you to grow. And so I invite you all to join me at Thrive Society. You can go to kikiramsey.com in order to check us out and join. All right, now, talk to y'all later. Peace.